Hey, it's John Foss. Very excited to be talking with Rachael MacFarlane and Dee Bradley Baker. We're talking about the 17th season of American Dad. What are we going to see on the 17th season?
Well, American Dad it's starting on January 24th, and the show is as funny as it's ever been. It's as edgy, and it takes as many chances as it ever has. I don't really want to spoil any of the surprises, but it's still a really great, funny show. That's the bottom line for me.
I completely agree. It shocks me every year that our writers are still able to crank out content that's so legitimately hilarious. We've been watching episodes recently, and I'm struck every time, like, wow, the show is really still funny. It's great. I guess that's why it's still on the air.
One thing that's very interesting about American Dad is that a lot of times the storyline actually sticks and it becomes canon, and it actually plays out going forward, as opposed to a lot of other animated series. My question for you, Rachael, is Haley. What are we going to see for Haley in season 17?
Well, Haley and Jeff, yes, Haley and Jeff are obviously married and living, with my parents. And there's a great episode where I think it's called Please, Please, Jeff, where we find out that Jeff is just, he's a complete and total people pleaser. And so Haley sets off to try to make him less of a people pleaser, which of course, I think in the end she finds out she doesn't really like, because, we actually do like it when our husbands are people pleasers. And there's another episode, I don't want to say too much about it, that's one of my favorites we've ever done in 17 seasons. And it's so out there and totally bizarre in the way that only American Dad can do it. I think that our fans are in for a real treat this season. It's one of my favorites that we've done.
And Dee, for you, I'm wondering here, when you were growing up, were you thinking, when I grow up, I want to be the voice of a fish?
Yeah.
I mean, this has to be the most random, best job of all time, and to have so much success for so long being the voice of a fish. How does that happen?
Yeah, I feel like I'm splashing around in my childhood fantasies with this voiceover career. It's not something that I ever really expected to happen, because I didn't think I was going to be an actor. I didn't think I was that kind of material. I liked monster movies and performing in musicals and plays and doing weird performance art stuff eventually, but that was just kind of messing around for fun. And I had no idea what I was going to do until my late 20s. And I said, oh gosh, I guess I'm a voice actor. But it's great fun.
Was this voice something that you came up with, or were they like, hey, you're going to be a fish, this is going to be a German accent, or did you just come up with this? How did this all come together?
No, the original audition was for a French fish, and I read it. I defied that. I didn't do that. I gave them a German fish because I could speak German, and for me, it was a funnier choice of what I could do, and so I was going to give them the funniest of what I could do, and that was my German fish. And against all odds, they said, yeah, we like that. So they went with it. Yeah, it was great.
And Rachael, in addition to having an awesome voice acting resume, we also know that you are a great singer. You did the album Haley Sings, I think, back in 2012. And I think you have an album that you did as yourself as well. Where do you see your singing career go from here? Are you going to do another Haley album, or are you going to do an album as yourself? Where does that go from here?
I mean, I kind of can't believe that it was 2012. I'm like, wow, that was a long time ago. It's funny. I had such a great time doing that album, and it was such a fun opportunity. And right now I'm just sort of, the pandemic sort of quelled things a bit, but I was playing out a bit at jazz clubs in Los Angeles and was planning on doing it again this year, but we'll sort of just see the track that everything takes. But mainly right now, I am enjoying singing in all of the animated shows that I do. It's a blast. It's such a great opportunity for me to be able to continue my singing.
There's a lot of song in animation. It's really I always say that animation is the last bastion of melody in this country, and in all of its different forms, you can really learn and connect into music as a kid through animation. It's great.
And Dee, one thing I did hear Rachael talking about, I believe it was in a Comic-Con, she mentioned that you have a website called iwannabeavoiceactor.com.
Yeah.
I checked it out. It's really cool. And I personally have had a lot of people heard a lot of people mention that they, that voice acting would be a cool job, or that they wanted to do that. Why did you come up with the website? And is it for people like that, or is it just something that you felt passionate about? How did you come up with the website, and what's the status of that today?
Well, I'm kind of a know-it-all and a blowhard, A lot of people ask me, voice actors are asked a lot, how do you do this? How do you get into it? And I finally was like, I can't talk to you for 2 hours, everybody who asks me this, so I'm going to make a website just because it's a lot of talking and I want to help. And then people started really paying attention to it, and I kept adding pages to it, and now it's got a lot of content on there. And it's free, and I get nothing from it other than people are happy that I put it out there. But yeah, it's iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, and it's everything that I've learned about being a voice actor, about being an actor, about being a creative professional, kind of a creative entrepreneur in a way. And it's just putting the information out there so that people who are right for this can get in, and those who aren't to say, oh, I guess this isn't really what I really wanted to do. And but a lot of people apparently love it, and it gets like 500 or 600 people hitting it a day, and it's good. It's a good thing to get more people under the circus tent. When you want fresh clowns to join the clown circus that you're involved with as a voice actor.
And Rachel, I'm going to finish it up with a very controversial question for you.
Okay.
What do you like better, American Dad or Family Guy?
My goodness, that is a controversial question. Honestly, I like American Dad. And I mean that in all sincerity. I love Family Guy too, and I work on almost every episode of Family Guy. But American Dad has my heart for many reasons, but honestly, mainly Roger. I really think he's one of the greatest animated characters out there. I laugh heartily every time I watch him and I watch the show. He's one of my favorite characters.
All right, well, Dee, Rachel, thanks so much for being with us. Twin Cities, make sure you check it out. American Dad, the 17th season, airs at 9 p.m. on TBS here in the Twin Cities. Thanks, guys.
Auf Wiedersehen.